Savvy Central Radio, drawing out the best from our guests, with host Christina Nichman.
Tina Paymaster is a certified health and lifestyle coach who helps women gain the motivation and confidence to create lasting positive changes in their lives so they can stop settling and start living. If you're struggling with sticking to healthy habits, always putting others' needs ahead of your own, if you know you're capable of so much more but can't find the confidence to take the next step forward, and you're finally ready to claim your power and step into your full potential, then head over to tinapaymaster.com/motivation to download your free copy of How to Master Your Motivation, the secrets to creating a healthy and happy lifestyle that lasts. Hello everyone, and welcome to Savvy Central Radio. This is your host, Christina Nichman. Each week on Savvy, we host successful individuals and business owners, inviting them to share their dreams, stories, wisdom, and lessons learned in their field of business. Our guest today is Melissa Krivachek. Melissa is the author of 3 books: Be Ballsy, How Not to Suck at Love, Success, and Happiness; Be a Baller, The Blueprint to Having It All; and Bold, Help You Unleash the Hero Within, all written and published in 2014, with 2 out of 3 becoming international bestsellers. As a coach and public speaker, Melissa shares her expertise with everyone from students to inspiring entrepreneurs to small business owners and CEOs of major corporations. She's been featured on ABC, NBC, CNBC, Fox, CNN, as well as Forbes and yahoofinance.com. To find out more about Melissa, visit her website at briellaarion.com. Hi, Melissa. Welcome to Savvy Central Radio. How are you?
Doing awesome, Christina. Thanks for having me.
Well, I am happy to have you today. Melissa, you are a 2-time international best-selling author, award-winning entrepreneur, but this was not always the case. You have quite a story. Share with our audience your transformed life and how you came to creating your dream business.
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2004, I started with Walmart and I grew very quickly with the company. At one point, though, I decided I wanted to quit. So I was going to hand in my resignation, but there was a new manager and he wanted to take me under his wings, even though he didn't know me and he didn't know my capabilities. He saw some potential in me. And so I allowed him to do that. And I became a customer service manager. And then I actually ended up becoming Walmart's youngest store manager, which was quickly followed by me being fired for doing the right thing. Ooh. So after I surpassed his rank, I actually called my manager out. At that point, we were in 2 different stores for keeping 2 sets of books. And that was 2008. And then in 2009, I had to take a temp job with the temp agency working minimum wage, printing Hallmark cards in a factory, which I totally never want to do again. But, in 2008, everything was collapsing and, we talk about the economy, but really we have control over the economy. We make it our own. So 2010 rolls around and I take a job with Family Dollar. The dynamics of Family Dollar and Walmart are totally different. Both of them are Fortune 500 companies, but the way they operate is incredibly different. So after about 8 months, I was bored and I wanted to become an entrepreneur, but I didn't really know that entrepreneurship meant sales and marketing and fulfillment and processing and all of this other stuff. And I ended up moving to Chicago, followed by moving to Dallas, followed by me actually ending up homeless. And I knew my car was up for repossession because I'd bought this brand new car off the showroom floor. Everything was great. When I worked retail, I had 6 figures as a salary. So that was great, but I was also completely naive and didn't save any money. So as much as I had, I blew on random things. So at one point, I ended up with 5 maxed out credit cards. I become homeless. I end up moving back in with my parents and spending 6 days in jail for speeding, for getting multiple tickets. And so at that point, entrepreneurship was what I was going to do. I was 100% dedicated to it, but I didn't know what my passion and purpose in life actually was. Mm-hmm. So I gravitated towards YouTube, watched, countless thousands of hours of YouTube videos, anything that had to deal with motivation. Joe Osteen, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, you name it, I was watching it. And then I started reading books. But what ended up happening was 4 years later, which is where I am right now, you mentioned me being a 2-time international best-selling author, but I'm also going on an international tour with Les Brown One of my books is up for the 2015 Small Business Book of the Year award. And I've been on the covers of multiple magazines. I've been called a power player under 40. I'm the top 1% of U.S. executives in the U.S. today, according to the National Council of American Executives. So life has dramatically changed for me. But what happened was I personally had to transform. So the only person that could take responsibility for my life was me. That meant that I had to, eating healthy, start working out, start making sales phone calls, start connecting with people, start building relationships, start doing the things that I knew I needed to do and that I knew would get results. Now, all of us know what we need to do to get results, but many of us don't put in the time and effort and energy and investment into actually doing that. So that's the difference between those that want to do and those that actually accomplish.
Wow. And I'm sure many hearing your story can relate because we've been there. We've made mistakes at any point in our life, whether it be our finances or life choices and such. But it really was a turnaround. Was there any particular aha moment that for you was like, enough is enough? I got to get my game on and take responsibility?
Oh, yeah, for sure. The 6 days in jail will definitely do it for you. So I talk about going to jail like meditation. Like for me, I was in like complete solitude. So there was no people, there was nothing. And it wasn't because I had to be in solitary confinement. That wasn't actually the case. The case was the jail that I chose to go to just didn't have anybody in. So I spent 6 days with my brain and I literally have to figure out, like, is this the path you want to go down? Is this, the things that you want to accomplish? Is this who you want to be? And the answer was no, because I had already maxed out 5 credit cards. I had already had everything I ever wanted taken away. I had already, been down the road of having everything and having nothing. And there I was at the bottom. I didn't know how much further you could go down, but I personally didn't want to travel down that road anymore. So something had to change, and that something was only one thing, and that was me.
And since then, you've grown your business. You've worked with a number of entrepreneurs. What have you found to be the number one thing preventing many business owners from succeeding?
Their ability to, their habits, basically. I mean, we all have habits, some good, some bad, some help us get to where we want to be, and others keep us where we are. But at the end of the day, like, those habits are what's going to either make you or break you. It's what's going to help you accomplish the things you want to accomplish, or help you stay stuck and stay where you are.
Yeah, that brings me to the question, Melissa, that while you change your habits, I'm thinking that for you, when you were in jail, then got out and said, okay, enough is enough, I'm changing my life, you probably also had to go through a transformation in your mindset, changing the way you looked at things or the way you approach things. Is that so?
Yeah, every single day. We have to deal with our mindsets. And so some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad, and some days are going to be indifferent. For, today we talked about, me not having internet for this particular interview. And while many people would say, let me reschedule the interview, I'm like, okay, what can I do to make this interview happen regardless of the circumstance or situation right now? So we have to look at our lives every day throughout, each situation or each circumstance that we encounter and say, is this worthy of my attention, and how much attention should I give it? Is this worthy of the effort or the investment, and should I make the investment or should I walk away? And all of those questions we personally have answers to. And so when we work on our mindset, it's more than just making decisions. It's our ability to put different things into our mind. And when I talk about that, I mean, you have to put water instead of soda. You have to work out instead of be lazy and sit in your favorite chair and watch television. You have to work on, like Success Magazine or Forbes Magazine or whatever sort of inspiration you need, and then take action on that. And that's the most important key, is to take action, because all of us have access to ridiculous amounts of information, but very, very few of us are actually taking action on that information.
That's a really, really good point, Melissa. I remember early on in starting my business, I had started one day as a VIP workshop with another entrepreneur, and we both bailed at the last minute, pretty much making up excuses of not feeling well or things not going well in our lives. And the second one, or actually it was the third one I hosted, two of the speakers the night before were going to bail. And I, at that point, was like, I'm not going to cancel like I did 2 workshops prior. If need be, I will do those 2 spots myself. And so I went through my literature of things I put together, coursework and such, and just started to say, put myself in a mindset that if need be, if those 2 individuals do not show, I will also do their speech as well. And so what you're coming to saying here, I think, if I'm hearing you correctly, is that it's really a choice. You make a choice to go forward and take action or not.
100%. All of us have to take responsibility. And you just talked about having a great example where you had the choice to walk away and be lazy and complacent. And actually, what happens when you do that is you feel terrible about it. You feel really bad that you walked away from an opportunity, that you failed to serve people, that you failed to add value to the marketplace. And in doing so, it takes away from the value that you can add to the marketplace. It takes away from your self-confidence and self-esteem. And it actually holds you and restricts you from living up to the potential that you have. And so what you need to figure out is, where can I take responsibility for my life? Do I need to save more money? Do I need to invest in certain assets that bring me a return? Do I need to get rid of things that hold me back, having all the apps on your phone or having your TV or whatever the case is for you? And then figure out, okay, once those things are gone, how can I enhance my life? How can I start doing the things I know I need to do? And it's going to be hard. For those people that think it's going to be easy, it's not. But it's worth it in the end, because you're one of the very few that actually accomplishes what you want to accomplish. And people are going to ask you, well, how did that happen? The reality is they were watching you the entire time. They were just giving you the bullshit story they've created about, oh, well, I'm not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, educated enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have the right relationships. I don't have this, that, and the other. And you do have everything you need where you are right now to get everything you want and be who you want to be.
And also, that being said, if you go about and make promises or say, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and you don't follow through, you lose your credibility both with entrepreneurs, other business owners, and people, as you said, are watching you. And at the same time, if you hold true to yourself and don't make excuses, find a way to make things happen like you did today with, I'll just get on and use my cell phone to make this interview happen. You begin to build strength with people around you. They begin to depend on you and know that you are consistent, dependable, someone that they can depend on, and you inspire them also to be their greater self.
It's funny because a lot of people make promises that they cannot keep. And it's really, really terrible, because you should be able to tell somebody something and then hold yourself to the standard of having the highest integrity for yourself. Like, no one's going to hold you to the standard of having to do something that you said you were going to do. You should say that you're going to do something and then go find a way to accomplish that. So if you want to get a better body, you better figure out how you're going to do that. If you want to make more money, you better figure out how you're going to do that. If you want to live in a better neighborhood, you're going to figure out how to do that. But at the end of the day, that's going to require an investment. It's going to require an investment of time, an investment of money. It's going to probably require an investment of expertise from somebody outside of you to help you come up with a game plan, because the how is not the problem. It's you that is the problem.
Good. I like that you said the how is not the problem. It's you standing in your own way. And the fact that it's okay to enlist help. I often hear people say, well, I'm waiting for more money to get that high price coach or something like that. But if you think about it, when I sat down with people and I thought about, if you think about the times you go out on the weekend and spend that $100 with your family to go and have a dinner outside, if you were to times that times 12, times every weekend, 52 weekends, how much money did you spend that you could have put towards investing in yourself? So often it's not the real fact that the money doesn't exist for whatever you want to do. It's just reassessing, what do you find valuable?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Most people don't have their actions and beliefs aligned. And so you need to look at, what is it that you actually value? So one of the exercises I take people through all the time is, and Christina, we can go through this now, is just look around the room. What is around you?
Okay.
So tell me what's around you.
Okay, I have my kitty cat, a couch, my desk, my business license, and a kitchen table.
Okay, so I assume that all of those things have some sort of value to you, right?
Yes, they're useful value, yes.
Okay, so you've obviously invested in those things for a reason, because they make you feel good emotionally and because they help you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. Therefore, those things are things that you value. But most people say, well, I want to accomplish X, but nothing I'm doing is helping me accomplish that. Well, that's because what you value is completely different than what you say you value. So you could say you value having a great body, but everything that is around you indicates the exact opposite, because your cupboards or your refrigerator is filled with junk food, from soda to chips and everything in between. So we have to just reassess our own lives and say, what is really keeping me where I am? Whether it be the email or the social media, spending hours on both of those, or watching television or reading newspaper or watching the news, or doing a variety of different things. Once we realize what's actually holding us back, then and only then can we help get out of our own way and get what we truly want in life.
That's a really interesting tip and point to make, that looking around your present life, what can you take out of that? Like, from having your TV on, well, how many hours of TV do you watch? 3 hours of TV, is that really the best use of your time? To how does my refrigerator look? One gal had said, who came on my show, she said most people say, well, I need to go shopping again, or I don't have enough money. But I challenged most Americans. She said, look in your cupboard. I bet anything you have at least 6 months worth of food in most American cupboards, because we buy an excess of food that you probably don't need to go shopping for quite a few months. But, and also most of that food is probably garbage. But the point she was trying to make, that we have a lot more resources than we think we do.
Yeah, it's so true. So, I mean, if you look at social media, like, you can build tremendous relationships off of social media without actually being in the social scene. You don't have to be in New York City to build amazing relationships. I mean, I'm in Iowa, and I started in my parents' living room, building a multi-million-dollar business for not only myself, but my clients as well. So the reality is, you have everything you need. You just need to make a decision on whether you're going to use what you have, or whether you're going to complain about what you don't have.
And from your growth and all coming to where you are today, becoming a best-selling author, award-winning entrepreneur, what is your biggest takeaway and lesson you've learned so far in growing your business?
Well, I would say if somebody tells me not to do it, I'm definitely going to do it. Mostly because I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can handle. And so everybody has their own sort of standards, and everybody has their own realities. And when we look at the stories we tell ourselves, we need to realize that it's the story that's restricting us from getting the results we want. And for me, that was, oh, I'm big boned, or, oh, I don't have a treadmill, so I can't work out, or, oh, I don't have enough money, so I can't do this, or, whatever it is. Like, all of us have stories. All of us do. And so you just have to look at those stories and say, wait a second. You can work out without a treadmill. You can work out on the living room floor without any equipment. Put on YouTube, YouTube turbulence training. You've got 12 high intensity videos that are 12 to 20 minutes a piece that you can literally do in your living room without any equipment or any investment. You go to the store and you think about all the things that you could buy, and you go to all the aisles that have crap. And it's funny because the way retail locations are set up is all of the bad food, all of the sugary, carb-loaded, fatty food are in the aisles. So if you stay to the perimeter of the store, you're actually going to be very well off. But if you get sucked into any of the aisles, you're actually loading your body with garbage. So you just need to be psychologically aware of where things are being placed into your life that are affecting the outcome of the result that you want.
And so, in other words, is what you have around you, your beliefs and what's in your life, is it empowering or limiting? And I like what you mentioned about the exercise, because I had gone through that too. I was like, I can't afford a gym membership a number of years ago, but I got totally sucked into and fell in love with firmdirect.com, which was a whole exercise program that's on video. And it was awesome. I mean, I started out with only 10, 15 minutes because I was so out of shape. I couldn't handle more than that, and worked my way up to an hour video. And then one of my absolute favorite exercises is going out and taking a walk. And that doesn't cost a penny either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, we just want to make excuses. All of us will make excuses. Like, even the most successful and brilliant people in the world have excuses. I mean, none of us are perfect. So all of us have like I don't have time to make a phone call. And you'll see like even the richest people in the world, like, I have to be here, I have to be there, I have to be like, I can't be my most productive because and they're beating themselves up for lack of productivity. But at the end of the day, the rest of the world's looking at them like, dude, you're performing 14 times better than I'm ever going to perform.
Yeah.
So the people that have standards recognize that they have so much more potential that they want to tap into, and they're only tapping into a very limited amount of that potential. Well, the majority of the world is like, I don't even know what my purpose is, so I guess I don't really care, and I'm just gonna die. And I listened to Eric Thomas say this weekend, actually, that the richest place in the world is the graveyard, because that's where you'll find the death of so many ideas and inventions and businesses die.
Yeah. Yeah. And Melissa, this brings me to a guest we had a long time ago on our show who inspired me so much, because he had a major heart defect, had like major surgery on his heart. The doctor said, you'll probably die. You'll never learn to walk again. And his greatest dream was to actually fly. And the doctor was like, well, we don't even think you're going to breathe much longer, let alone walk or fly. And he was like, well, I want that. While he's on his bed and he can't even move, he can't even get across the room, he was making a plan to complete a mission of flying in a light sport aircraft in all 50 states. Michael Combs. Crazy. Everyone around him is telling him, well, not his wife, but other people around him are going, that's nuts. It's not possible. He accomplished it. 4 years later, he got a pilot license. He accomplished it. He was healthy. Now he's thinking about doing the same thing on a bike. But the thing is, he goes around the world, he speaks, and people are always like, oh, it's so impossible. I could never do what you do. And he always tells all his audiences, there's absolutely nothing different between me and you other than a choice. I had a choice. It looked impossible from what doctors and other people were telling me, but I refused to accept that choice. And you can all do the same.
It's so true, because I hear that all the time, when I speak, whether it be on radio, television, or on the stage. And, I look back in the last 40 years and I think to myself, like, how did this happen? But it's my daily actions. It's, not waking up excited to be up at 5 a.m. every morning, because I'd be crazy to be like, it's 5 a.m., but you just get over that. It's the little things, because all the little things add up. I believe the guy from Success Magazine, Darren Hardy, once said, it's not the difference between those who make it on the cover of Success Magazine and those that don't. It's really a matter of, do I want to eat cake today, or do I want to have a salad? What am I willing to sacrifice to get what I want? And most people will never sacrifice. And I look back over the past 4 years and I think, oh my gosh, like in the very beginning, I remember selling everything I had. I literally sold everything I had. 7-piece living room furniture, grand china buffet with the amazing table and the 8 England oak chairs. And I mean, I sold everything down to like my last shirt and my last pair of jeans, just so I could run a business. And I never regret that. But I always think to myself, I know that 99% of the population would never, ever, ever make the sacrifices I made, and could never go through the emotional pain of disattaching yourself from the outcome of what may or may not be your biggest failure yet, or your biggest success yet. But it is those choices that separate the 1% from the rest of the world.
And the fact that you mentioned that, see, I think people get confused because they look at what you've accomplished and what Michael Combs accomplished and think they did it in one day. It was not. It was one step in front of the other, in front of the other. And little bits of small steps adding up over a period of time and sacrifice over a period of time that have created the success. It wasn't an all-at-once thing, and it will require effort. But do you want your dream life, or do you want a mediocre life?
Yeah, too many people live in mediocrity, and it's such a sad deal. Like when I moved into my 4,000 square foot home from my parents' house, so I went from my parents' house to a 4,000 square foot house, 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, 2 kitchens, 2 living rooms, gorgeous. My sister says, hey, maybe if I lived in this neighborhood, I'd be rich too. And I was thinking to myself, do you realize what I just went through the last how many years? Like, where have you been? I mean, like, you've been watching this whole thing. This neighborhood has nothing to do with being rich. It's a mindset. It comes down to like, okay, now I have a mortgage. Am I going to be able to pay the mortgage? Like, you take on little things every single day, and you've got to be able to put yourself in a position of, can I handle that? And what am I willing to do to handle that? Because nobody's going to pay your mortgage but you. And I didn't even have a mortgage. I paid cash. But the point is that you have to realize where you are right now, and then create or help, like find someone to help you create a game plan to move from rich to mediocre to great, and great to the best. Because, you know, you're either first or last. So there's really no in between.
Yeah. So as you've grown your business, how are you unique than other entrepreneur coaches out there?
Yeah. So what I offer is actually extremely unique to the marketplace. And that is that I'm not just about adding more money to your bottom line or finding the holes in your business or helping you get your crap together and get out of the story that you found, but the implementation process that I take people through. Every time I have a conversation about it, people are like, I've never heard of that before, or I've never heard that strategy before, or can you elaborate? And so my differentiation perspective is that I use Facebook as a way to make money. That being said, you know that there's groups on Facebook, correct?
Yes.
So I monetize the groups. I basically use Facebook as a membership site. But I block out my newsfeed, so everybody that is making noise on Facebook, I don't see that. All I see is the statuses that I update. So I'm in front of people's eyes all day, every day, but people aren't bombarding my mind with their stuff.
Wow, that is very unique indeed. And people out there who are interested in finding out more about you, working with you, and discovering more about your services, how can they do that?
Yeah, so you can either Google me, and Christine, I'm sure you'll have this in the show notes, but you can find me on BriellaArion.com, and that's BriellaArion.com.
Awesome. Well, Melissa, what is your grand vision for the next year? What's going to happen with your biz?
Yeah, so we are going on an international tour with Les Brown. Les was in my last book, which is now up for the 2015 Small Business Book of the Year Award, which we are incredibly excited about. But that will take us to a series of countries, including Malaysia, Australia, London, New York City, Orlando, LA, and our kickoff event is coming up in the next 60 to 90 days in Houston, Texas. So it's going to be an amazing opportunity to share with people around the globe on how they can be bold and live the life they've always wanted.
Yeah, and can they attend the event no matter what city you're in? Is there a way to get tickets for that?
Yep, absolutely. boldbooktour.com. And we're actually live streaming the event with the people who created Google Plus and YouTube. So we have the highest streaming quality available. So anybody anywhere in the world can view the event via their computer or show up live in person. So we can interact with you there as well.
Yay! Well, before we head on out here, Melissa, is there any last words you'd like to leave with our audience?
Yeah, don't forget to take action on your dreams, because that's all that really matters.
And today's the only day you have. You don't know if you have tomorrow. It's not promised, so do it now.
It's such a true story. Such a true story.
Well, Melissa, it's been fabulous having you out here on Savvy today. Thank you so much for coming to share your wisdom and talent.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.